Hello, my name's Dawn Dickens and I work for the Manx Wildlife Trust, and today I'm going to talk about the sort of things that live in this wonderful stuff. This is called leaf litter. It's literally all those leaves fall off the trees and it's still on the ground. To you and I, they just look like leaves, very scrunchy, but these creatures that we're going to look at today, this is a really, really yummy meal, and you'll often find bits of dead wood and everything. Just a fantastic habitat for these beasts. So all that we're going to look at today, you can find in your garden, you can find out on your walk, your daily walk, just by, if you find some pile of leaves, just move them and see if you can see any of these things crawling around. So we're going to have a little look at those. And the first thing we're going to look at is something called wood lice. Very common, very interesting little animal. They are related to crabs and lobsters. They're a crustacean. They have 7 pairs of legs and they have this beautiful armoured body. Now you and I, if you squeeze your arm, you can feel your hard bone inside. If you're a woodlouse, your skeleton's on the outside. It's called an exoskeleton. So it has to molt quite a few times during its life. So really, really fascinating little creatures, and I'm going to just show you a little diagram of them. So this is looking on the top of a woodlouse. Typical rough woodlouse, it's got this zigzaggy, sawy edge to it. There's actually 7 pairs of legs, massive antennae here, because they feel their way a lot. They don't tend to use sight. They do have compound eyes, they can only really see if it's light or dark. It's a bit like you get a pair of glasses, it's smearing butter all over them and you can't see very well. You can just tell light and dark. Okay, and they have these funny little tubes at the end called uropods, and they're really quite handy for them because what they do, they secrete chemicals out of this to try and deter predators eating them. Because if you're little like this, hey, you can't really run away very fast. Okay. Their life cycle's lovely. The mums lay eggs, but they have a special little pouch on their bodies that they lay the eggs into that hatch out, and this is where they give them the nutrients and the water that they need, and they carry them around with them. And even when those babies have hatched out, they still stay quite close to mum for a couple of months. I did a lovely, lovely little walk once, and a lovely little boy called Rob, he's only about 4 at the time, found a woodlouse and still had its babies around it, and the babies look like little grains of white rice running around because they're very white looking. They're detritivores, nice word. That just means that they eat all the dead stuff on the ground, like the dead leaves and the dead wood, just like the leaf litter we were looking at. And it's really, they play such an important role, because if they didn't eat all those leaves and that wood, our woods would be filling up and up and up. You couldn't see me, okay? They'd be so big. So we need something to be able to break those down. Really, really good. They live from 3 to 4 years, which is quite a long time, really. And they're just, the other really good thing about them, they've still got like gills, and they have to keep themselves damp to be able to breathe. They actually breathe through their bottoms. The other really interesting fact, they don't wee. Instead, that ammonia that we wee out, and it makes a bit of punk, doesn't it? Okay, they actually release that out of their bodies. So this is why, if you have them in a container with a lid on, if you smell that container, inside that container, when they've been in there for a little bit, it smells a bit ammonia-y. Now, we also on the Isle of Man call them granny grunters and parsons pigs. That's because they like to live in damp places. And I'm sorry, grandmas, and I'm sorry, parsons. They used to live in damp houses. And the pig bit comes from that ammonia smell, because pigs have a sort of an ammonia smell as well. So what we're going to do now, I've got my dynamite, my little microscope, and we're going to have a little closer look at them on the computer. Okay, so what we're looking at here is the rough woodlouse under the microscope. And you can see its 2 antennae moving away really quite clearly there. If you look down towards where the antennae go into the head, you'll see two little lumps. They're actually its eyes, its compound eyes. So we're looking at the head there, and we're just going to move down the woodlouse. You can see where it gets the name rough woodlouse when you look at the edge of its shell, okay, because it looks a bit zigzaggy and saw-like. So we're going down towards, there we go, towards the tail end. And what we're looking at there, that's the tail. What it's actually doing is picking up water at the moment. So you can see it's actually, this is the way that it actually drinks. The two outer bits that are coming together, okay, are the uropods. They're the ones that can emit chemicals and scare things off. So you can actually see it's drinking away. And if we look back, if we go back up, you should be able to count the legs as we go up. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There should be no 1, 6, 7. There's one that's right at the front there, okay? So 7 pairs of legs. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually take the video so that I can see underneath. So we're looking at the underside of it. You can see where all the legs join in. Unfortunately, it looks a bit scratched because I'm actually videoing this through the base of the Petri dish, which is a bit scratched, but I really don't want to turn it over and hurt it. Even though they're quite common, we still need to treat them very, very carefully, okay? So you can see where all the legs are attached. If I move it to the front end, you can see, actually that's the back end, and you can see the uropods there, okay? And we're just going to move it forward to the head end. They really don't like the bright light of the, there we go. We've got a really good view of it now. And you can see just there, its little head, and even its mouth working, its little mandibles, okay? So the next things that we're going to look at are these really tiny little things. You can just make them out there like roly-poly little balls, okay? These, people sometimes call them pill bugs. These are actually pill millipedes. There's two that look very, very similar. There's a pill woodlouse and the pill millipede. Pill millipede has a lot more legs, okay? A pill woodlouse would have 7 pairs. They have 18 pairs if they're a pill millipede. And it's got such a good defensive mechanism because it curls up so tiny and so tight. Millipedes, completely different from woodlice, completely different, okay? They have 13 body segments, and these are detritivores as well, and they live in deciduous woodlands. They're very clever because they actually, if they feel threatened, they actually secrete this toxic chemical, which they spray at their predator, and it actually sedates them. So that means it makes them really sleepy. So it slows them down so they can't speed up and catch them. Really, really good defense mechanism. Unlike the woodlouse that lays its eggs into a pouch and they hatch out, the mums here make a chamber that's a hole in the ground. They'll lay up to 70 to 80 eggs in the hole, and they'll seal it up, then off they go, and they just leave them to their own fate. They can live quite a long time. They can live up to 11 years. So I don't know whether they're very, very timid things. And at the moment, these are curled up really, really tight. That's so that the predators can't get into them. But we'll have a look and hopefully they'll uncurl and we'll be able to pick them up on the microscope. So at the moment, what we're doing is we're looking at it under the microscope, and that strange noise that you hear is when I'm actually recording. You can see the plates overlap so tightly on these little pill millipedes. There's no way a predator can get into those. They're just so tightly wound up. So what I've got now in this dish, I don't know if you can see these tiny little black things here, just up here. Okay, these are snakes millipedes. They're actually called white-legged snakes millipede. Incredible long name for such a tiny little creature. Millipedes don't actually have a million legs. They have up to 100 on a white-legged snake's millipede. So what's the big difference between a centipede and a millipede? Everyone gets them really, really muddled up. Millipedes tend to have very round bodies. Not all of them, but they always have 2 pairs of legs on each segment of the body, whereas the centipede just has 1. The centipede is carnivore, runs around, eats other creatures. Millipedes move very, very slowly. They push their way through the leaf litter, and their lovely round bodies and having 2 pairs of legs on each segment really help them with that pushing, because believe you me, when you're that tiny, a leaf is incredible weight to lift up, so they have to push the way through. They are detritivore. That means that they eat all the dead wood and the leaf litter, and that's where you'll often find them. If you pick up a log, you'll find lots of millipedes underneath, and you'll usually find them curled up, just like a snake would be, really, really round. So that's why they're called snakes millipedes. What I'm going to do, we're going to have a little look at them underneath the microscope. He's going quite quick, so here we go. Okay, so here he is, and we can see quite clearly his antennae. Okay, and they're segmented. They're in little distinct groups. And if you look now, as it walks past, you'll see all those legs working, and they look almost like little waves going along the body of the snake's millipede. You can see how incredibly round it is, okay? And here's another one. They've just got to make friends with each other, and the other one's having a bit of a rest, and this one's having you've got a lovely side view here of those legs, okay? Can you see all the pairs? And if you look really carefully, you'll be able to work out there are actually 2 legs underneath each little segment as it goes along, okay? Beautiful little things, really good at breaking down all that leaf litter, so good for us. They're almost like little bulldozers of the mini beast world, because they're so incredibly strong at moving things. I'll just refocus that. You could get a lovely picture of the head just there, lovely head shot. Okay, and they're busy eating on mildew as well. So often they'll climb a tree or wooden fences, eating away on that.